Hello Star Wars fans, it's Mr. Corellian, and today I'm going to review for you the Toys R Us exclusive Podracer Pilots pack. Ooh, that's a tongue twister. The pack, which comes in a long package like this, is, like I said, a Toys R Us exclusive. You can only get it there, and it's, I don't know, around 25 bucks plus or minus. I think online right now you get it for 23 maybe. But it basically includes 5 different Podracer pilots. One is Team Topagales, as shown here, and I might get some of these names slightly wrong, because it's from memory. Mars Guo, I guess they have it here, don't they? Yep. Gascano, who I only just learned his name. I always thought he was Gascongo. I was putting an extra G in there. And Dud Bolt. And last but not least, Clegg Holdfast. Yeah, Clegg Holdfast. Good, I remember that right. Anyways, you know, if you've been following collecting for a while, you'll know that all of these figures are repaints. They've all been available at one point or another, oftentimes with a pit droid as a secondary character, or sometimes they were packaged together. I'm pretty sure Gascano and Mars Guo were packaged together at one point in time. But I believe this is the first time they've all been together, and you know, just at a great time too, when they're really pushing Episode 1 because the movie just came back out into theaters, and when you can get a couple of Podracers, you know, for sale. You can get some Bulbas or Anakins are on the shelves right now, and there's 2 other Podracers that are on pegs. I think Ben Quadraneros and I might not be able to remember the other one. Ooh, is it Evan? You know, I don't remember. There's another Podracer on the peg somewhere, though. I haven't got my hands on him yet. But anyways, let me, I guess there's a few more things that these came with. Of course, you've got all your stands like normal and a whole mess of cards, one for each of them if you're into the Galactic Battle game. But the most important thing is that it comes with all these flags. There's 5 of them for the 5 racers. I can't tell you which ones go with which, because there really isn't you know, a code or whatever. There isn't anything in the packaging to tell me which ones go to which one of them. Although now that I'm looking at it, nope, I have no way of knowing. I'm sure you can find that online though. They are made with a plastic gray rod sculpted a little bit right here in the middle to look like it has some bandages, you know, some grip around it. And then they're kind of a thin plastic sheet that's kind of taped on right around here. Not the highest quality thing in the world, but it's nice that it'll keep a structure, so it'll always look like it's waving in the wind. That's actually where, if they'd used something higher quality like cloth, it wouldn't have this nice square shape all the time. It would, you know, drape down or look goofy or weight wrong. But I think these are really cool, actually, so you can reenact that whole opening of the pod racing scene. Anyways, let's go quickly through these because there's a lot of them. How about Dud Bolt first? Okay, this is Dud Bolt's weapon. It's some sort of blaster with this interesting, you know, strap on it. The strap has a little tiny hole on it, which has a corresponding peg that it can plug into right there. I think it's kind of dumb. I think that this should just be connected somewhere that makes more sense, so it doesn't have to connect back to where it starts. And it's hard to, you know, get his hand around it when this loop is here. I'm not really sure the purpose behind it, and maybe I'm just connecting it wrong, but I couldn't find any other pegs on it or on Dud Bolt that made any sense. The end. So Dud Bolt, he's a short little guy. He has swiveling legs, swiveling arms, and swiveling wrists, as well as ball-jointed head. And he's pretty cool. He's, you know, pretty well sculpted. They could have done a little bit better paint on the brown parts of him, which look glossy. It's just kind of strange considering he's like this dirty Podracer pilot. As you can see, his helmet is detachable right here, actually pretty darn easily. All you have to do is remove his head. Booyah. Yeah, so not too much articulation. He holds his gun pretty well, though, and because his legs are swivel, he is able to sit. You'll be able to get him in a Podracer. Let's look at the next guy. Clegg Holdfast. This guy looks pretty cool. I always remember thinking he was a cool-looking Podracer when I was a kid and the movie first came out. So Clegg's articulation is that he has a ball-jointed head, a ball-hinged shoulders, elbows, swivel wrist, swivel torso, swivel hips, and ball-hinged knee. Nothing in the ankle. He's, you know, got actually a lot of little detailed bits on him. He has all these little dots that are both sculpted and painted nicely as an accent. He has a little blaster, but nothing to put the blaster in. In fact, I don't know if any of the guys have an actual holster for their weapons. Not that there's a lot of weapons that come with them. And this goggles, I guess, is detachable. In fact, it comes with them off, and it's really hard to get on his head. It doesn't stretch that well, or at least not without scaring you that it's going to stay permanently stretched. It's got all these spiky horns that you've got to get it over. So I'd say either choose it to be on or off and never change your mind after that. But other than that, he's a pretty cool looking guy, and importantly, he can sit down. And in fact, ooh, he can sit down with his legs going down too. How necessary. Good. I'm mentioning the sitting down part because one of them later is a disappointment in that regard. But let's keep going. This one's Teen Topagales. He is one that I think is maybe the coolest looking. Something that's neat about him is that he's furry, and you can actually, you know, he has all the sculpted little lines of hair. He's sculpted really nicely. He's really lacking in articulation though. He has a, let's see, a swivel head, swivel arms, nothing in the wrist or elbows, swivel legs, a little rotating tail, although because of the way it's painted, there's not really many ways you can orient it that'll make sense. And yeah, and a swiveling waist. So not too much there. You know, without the knees or ankles or anything like that, you can't really do anything with the way that he stands. He's either standing up or he's, you know, sitting down or something like that. Since his hands are wide open, he can't hold anything. So not a lot of customizability there. You can't really pose him. Yeah. Is what he is, but he's a good-looking little guy. Got a lot of you know, a lot of little markings on him, a lot of detail on his sculpt, and these goggles can come off. They actually fit on him really loosely, so you know, they'll kind of fall off just from. Oh, I lie. I say fall off and then they stick on, but they're pretty loose. Let's see. The next one is Mars Guo. This is an interesting little guy. It looks kind of like a dinosaur or something like that. He comes with this kind of fatty blaster, and I say fatty because it has a really big grip. It fits well in his right hand, which is a little bit bigger, but his left hand is just a little bit too small for it. However, that can be used for other blasters, I suppose, or maybe holding onto some other sort of grip. So his head is ball jointed, his arms swivel, and his legs swivel, and that's it. So, I mean, come on, this articulation is like going back to the Stone Age. However, these are really small figures, remember. Clegg Holdfast is the biggest of them all, and look at him compared to Mars Guo, especially the size of his legs and such, things like that. I guess you just can't fit articulation in. Still, it's a little frustrating. And Mars Guo also has goggles that can be removed. So I think that's, yeah, so far every single one of them has headgear that can be removed. And all but Teen Topagales has had some sort of a weapon. Alright, now we get to Gascongo, which is pretty much the worst of the bunch in my opinion. Gascano, not Gascongo. So Gascano has a swiveling head and 4 ball-jointed arms, and that's it. He has no leg articulation, which means he can't sit down, which means you can't put him in a Podracer. I mean, maybe he's short enough that he could just fit in the cockpit the right way, especially if I'm pretty sure his is an open cockpit, so I guess you could still get him in. But yeah, you can't bend him at the hip or anything like that, which is kind of strange. Oh, he might also have swivel torso. Yeah, he has a little bit of swivel at torso. So yeah, the 4 ball-jointed arms sounds great, but these arms can hardly move before they fall off of their ball joints. And that's because they're ball joint, not ball hinged, which I usually don't make the distinction, but for here that matters. So ball joint is when you have literally a ball and you have like a sort of bowl that that just cups over the ball, and that's how it stays on. And that can, it can be kind of nice. It's good for the head, but it also means that the joints come off a lot. When you see ball jointed heads, they're the easiest joint to pop off. Ball hinged are more integrated and they are harder to pop off. And for arms, they're usually better. So yeah, these ball joints in the arms fall right off. I think 1 or 2 of the arms fell off in the packaging as I was taking it home. I'm not even sure if I got them back on the right one, but it was as good as, you know, as well as I could get them to stay on. They bump into each other and have each other fall off. It's just frustrating. And Gascongo obviously has open hands, as you can kind of see, which means he cannot hold anything. His head stuff does not come off. Yeah, he's maybe, you know, somebody maybe could think that he's the most interesting looking, but he's really the worst of the pack. He has, what's the word? Comparatively, the least amount of paint, the least amount of textures and of sculpting, and of course, yeah, like I said, lacking pretty much every regard. So he's really the runt of the pack, the one that's the most worthless. But if you're getting all the Podracers, I guess the point is that it's not because one Podracer is your favorite character. I mean, do any of them have lines in the movie? I guess Ben Quaternaros is mentioned by name, but most of them, you're just getting to fill out a pod racing scene, and they are going to do that. This is a really convenient way to get 5 pod races at once, and to get these awesome flags for them. Of course, having stands for them all is great, especially because they all have holes in the bottom of their feet, so they all stand in the stands really well. So yeah, not the greatest figures in the world. Most of them look really nice, and they're sculpted nicely, and just can't move around. They at least have some sort of removable headgear, except for Gascano. And I mean, that's pretty much it. You know, if you're looking for a great figure, you know, to play with, these aren't what you're looking for. But if you're looking to expand a Podracer collection, this is a great pack to get, especially if you've missed them in the past, or heck, missed all 5 of them in the past. This is a place to pick up 5 for, you know, 25 bucks, 20. I think I got mine for $20. So that's what, $4 or $5 per figure. It's a great deal. So I'd recommend it if you want that. Anyways, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.